welcome. You're watching World Talks and I'm your host, Klaudia Czerwińska. Ahead of the Victory Day military parade on May 9th in Russia, all eyes are on Vladimir Putin's guest of honor, Chinese President Xi Jinping. Xi arrived in Moscow on Wednesday for a 4-day state visit where he will deepen ties with Putin. Xi's attendance is perceived as a strong display of unity between the two leaders. To discuss the significance of this meeting and its repercussions, I'm joined by Thomas Lukaszuk, research scientist from the Faculty of Political Science and International Studies at the University of Warsaw. Thank you so much for joining me on the program here on World Talks.
Thank you. Good morning.
So, in your opinion, what would you say are the symbolic and strategic significances of Xi Jinping's visit to Russia as he's going to spend 4 days there?
Right. It's one of the longest visits of Xi Jinping to Russia, but at the same time, we have to remember this already 11th meeting of Xi Jinping and Putin during the Xi Jinping terms as a president of China. For Putin, it is certainly symbolic visit of the representative of the second biggest economy in the world and emerging superpower, and also the leader of, to some extent, the global south, or one of the leaders of the global south. So Putin is sanctioned by the European Union because, as we know, the 17th package of sanctions against Russia is now being introduced by the European Union. For Putin is the kind of symbol that he still could play an important role in the global stage.
So how do you interpret China's increasingly visible support for Russia when it comes to war in Ukraine?
Right. China claims that it remains neutral. But when we look at the trade statistics between China and Russia for the last few years, we see the more than 60% increase. First. Second, that China became a biggest trade partner of Russia, becoming a kind of life pipe for the Russian regime. And
yet it sometimes seems that they happen to be on the fence because they, on one hand, are supporting Russia, on the other hand, they're trying to have some sort of a working relationship with the West.
Right, they are trying to be seen as a balanced and responsible leader, global leader. But at the same time, if we look for the dual-use exports from China, especially electronic devices, it would seem like the kind of the, not maybe the direct but indirect involvement of China in the aggression in Ukraine. So the image is one thing. I mean, the wish, the kind of wished image of China in this war, but the reality and the statistics, they are saying something totally different.
Mm-hmm. Which leads me to my next question, because President Volodymyr Zelensky claimed that China is supplying weapons to Russia and parts for the weapons as well. If confirmed, what would be the consequences for China on the global stage?
Right. I think that the China is successfully convincing its partners in the global south that the image of this unbiased and responsible leader is true, and the consequences for Xi Jinping and China would depend on how the United States and China negotiations will go on in Switzerland, because we have the visit of Xi Jinping today, but also as we know, is today also is the first day of the US and China negotiations in Switzerland, and it probably how those negotiations would go on. I mean, they would be successful or not, and if they would stop in the trade war that's going on now between China and the United States. So it would be also critical for China and its image in the Western world. I mean, is or involved or not. But at the same time, as I said, China successfully convinced many countries to join BRICS and to join the platform, which is not only the dialogue for the countries of the global south, but also the alternative symbol for the American and also the liberal order of the world. I mean, the proving that this multipolarity in the world is nowadays successfully gained by China, Russia, and other countries of BRICS.
I would like to take this moment to dive in deeper on what you just said, because President Xi Jinping actually gave an article titled "Learning from History to Build Together a Brighter Future," published in the Russian Gazette on May 7th. He mentioned the World War II commemorations, but he also said that he basically signaled the unity between China and Russia amid global tensions and positioning them as joint defenders of an alternative global order.
Yeah.
Alternative global order. Let's dive in deeper. So what are we looking into, and what sort of order are we talking about?
Well, when Xi Jinping met the partners from South and Southeast Asia, he claimed that the China would never play a role of hegemon. So first, he is trying to present himself as a partner,
not a danger
as a not a danger, and not also not the same kind of partner as the United States, and playing and using different instruments in relationship. And also sharing incentives, and this is what China and Xi Jinping is now trying to create this alternative to the liberal order, and I would say from this perspective, the role of the European Union and some liberal countries like Japan, they are now increasing. And that's why it's the current meeting in the Gymnich format of the foreign ministers of the European Union, discussing the global governance and global issues, not only Ukraine but in general the global situation would. I think would also give us some answers to the questions we are now asking. I mean, how the situation would develop. I mean, how successful, to what extent China would be in creating this alternative order to the existing order established after World War II, and the United Nations. And the big question would be how the two permanent members of the Security Council of the United Nations, I mean China and Russia, how they would positioning themselves towards the liberal and other members of the Security Council, like France, United Kingdom, and United States. And this would be probably one of the critical moments when this debate or the correspondence of the visions, I mean, between China, United States, European Union would find its place, and during the debate within the General Assembly of the United Nations, and probably it would be the most proper place to create a dialogue how this word should look like, and how the heritage of the fathers of the United Nations would be continued, having in mind and remembering the World War II and San Francisco Conference.
We spoke about the Council, but let's take a look at a place closer to home, at the European Union. Mm-hmm. Do you think that this alliance that China is trying to build and make stronger with Russia is actually a missed opportunity to strengthen its ties with the European Union, especially in face of the trade war that's going on with the United States?
Yes, I mean, Xi Jinping is now in the course of negotiating, as we said, with not with Russia but with the United States. I mean, for China, Russia is all-weather ally nowadays. Certainly, China is for today is a stronger partner in this alliance. But for the European Union, it's a very delicate matter, and the sensitive issues are like the future of the alliance with Russia and the trade negotiations with the United States. At the same time, we have to find the proper formula of the balance relationship with Xi Jinping and China, because for today, as Ursula von der Leyen emphasized, that today China for the European Union is the biggest trade partner, strategic partner, but at the same time competitor in political matters. So this formula of dialogue in political matters should be created anew, and this particular situation with the visit of Xi Jinping to Russia and emphasizing the significance of the relations between China and Russia is now giving a food for thought for us. And we have to really think and look closely how to reshape and look in different way nowadays at our relations with China in the European Union.
Our time on the program is coming to an end, but very shortly before we go, I wanted to ask you, do you think that China is actually learning and observing the situation that is happening in Ukraine with the West and with Russia, and is learning from its military and diplomatic experience when it comes to its own possible conflict with Taiwan?
Well, conflict with Taiwan. I mean, I'm you know, in my opinion, I mean, the conflict in Taiwan, it would not happen because, you know, the Chinese concept of security defense is mostly winning wars without without or before starting the real physical war. And nowadays, with engaging Russia and organizing for the last few years more than 11 exercises next to the Strait of Taiwan, it means that China would like to use this kind of pressure and leverage also of the Russian military power as a pressure on both Taiwan and the United States, just to keep the situation as it is. I mean, for China is really much better to keep this relations with Taiwan, with the majority of assets of Taiwan being engaged in China, and with Taiwan as the biggest producer of semiconductors in the world. And so for time being, in the short, I mean, in the short term, I mean, the time horizon, like 5 to 10 years, I would presume that China would not go on a physical war with Taiwan. No.
And let's hope for that. We'll have to put a full stop in there. Thank you so much, Tomasz Lukaszuk, research scientist at the Faculty of Political Science and International Studies at the University of Warsaw. Pleasure to have you on the program.
Thank you much.
And so this would be all for now here on World Talks, but please do stay tuned. We're back in just a moment with more news and features, and we'll see you there.